Brendan Dooley here, president and founder of Meaningful Wealth Management. Today, I want to talk to you about taxes being withheld from your Social Security. So, there's a couple good reasons why you probably haven't had any taxes withheld yet. One of them could just be when you signed up for Social Security, it just wasn't top of mind for you. So, no big deal, but now maybe some time has passed. You may have gotten some cost of living adjustments that have increased your benefit. You might have also now started to receive things like required minimum distributions, or you're taking more money out voluntarily of your retirement accounts, your IRAs, your traditional 401k, 403b, what have you. So it could be time to maybe start managing your tax bill a little bit closer to what your true tax liability is. And one of the ways that you can do that is through the W-4V that's offered from the IRS to withhold taxes voluntarily from your Social Security. So I want to show you today what that looks like and just how easy it is to get this thing maybe squared away. When I say this thing, I mean your tax liability. So it's a pretty simple form. The first page is all you're going to need to fill out. The second page is just a little bit of instructions, but there's really only 7 lines plus your signature. So the first line is going to be your name, your initial, your last name, and then your Social Security number. Then you're going to have your address, your claim or identification number. Again, that's your Social Security number. So then you're going to select what your tax withholding rate you'd like from your Social Security benefit. Now, a couple important points here. You may notice there's only 4 options: 7, 10, 12, or 22%. Those, well, only some of them line up with federal income tax bracket 1. So there's 7 tax brackets, 4 options here. And the 7% option is not a tax rate. Okay, so that's not that big of a deal because of the way our progressive tax system works. But if we're trying to align the amount of withholding that we're doing with what our tax liability is going to be, it would be nice if there were options. So anyway, there are 4 options, and I think that whether you should make Social Security, whether you should withhold taxes from Social Security comes down to your unique situation. So once again, this is totally a generic, generalized video here where I'm not at all giving personal advice. But I suppose if your Social Security benefit was your only source of income, then maybe you could get away with no withhold. But basically, the minute that you have any RMDs kick in, that's the biggest paradigm shift that I think would warrant you to be like, "Whoa, this is time for some Social Security tax withholding." Once those kick in, because generally speaking, they only grow over time. That's how the RMD formula works. It's meant to liquidate the account by the time that you're, you're you're gone. Okay, you check out. So when you see those RMDs grow over time, like most Americans, you'll probably notice that your tax bill is going to go up. Well, so cost of living adjustments could influence your taxes. It could, make you need to withhold more taxes, but I think it's more likely that it's going to be some pretty large shift in the amount of income that you're receiving that's taxable, and that RMDs are probably the easiest thing to point a finger at. So, back to the options here: 7, 10, 12, or 22%. So, you check the box, and then you're going to sign it and date it. Now, what do you do with it after that? You're going to come to the Social Security website. You're going to find the local office. So I just plugged in a zip code from a town near me. So you can walk in to the office and hand in the form. You could fax it to them, however you want to get it to them. Unfortunately, it's not real easy to get it to them. It's not like, first of all, a form you could fill out. That'd be lovely, right? But such as federal government, right? Not easy to do. So you're gonna have to find a way to get to them, either faxed or sent to them. So after it's been sent to them, I don't know how long it's going to take to take effect, depending on when they receive it, when your next check is due, that kind of thing. But this should help you kind of tighten up your tax withholding and maybe make it a little closer to your ultimate tax liability. So, one very important note that I want to point out to you is that the amount of taxes that are withheld federally, you can't withhold any state taxes. If you live in a state where the benefits are taxable, so you're going to have to still, just continue with your estimated tax payments. That the option that you pick is going to be maybe a little on the low side. And what I mean by that is it's going to be withheld, the taxes that you've opted to withhold will be done after your Medicare premiums have been deducted, if they are being deducted. So just keep that in mind that it's probably not going to be the true withholding amount that you would have withheld if it was, say, from a paycheck. And of course, keep in mind that only 85% of your, up to 85% of your Social Security benefit is taxable anyway. So there is a little bit more nuance to this. These are kind of like blunt instrument tax withholding rates that aren't actually true to the way that your tax liability is going to work out. But there's still probably good ways to get your taxes withheld at a number that's going to be pretty close or closer, certainly closer to your tax liability than the zero withholding you may be doing now. And it might help you hit at a very minimum the safe harbor for your tax liability and help you avoid any potential underpayment penalties. So this is definitely something to think about as you transition from maybe no RMDs to all of a sudden receiving RMDs, but also if you're taking those voluntary withdrawals of taxable retirement account distributions, or even if you're, suddenly selling off investments that have been profitable in a brokerage account, and now you're receiving, some capital gains. So these are new source of income potentially that could be uh, making your taxes a little squirrely, and Social Security is a potentially easy way to true up your tax liability going forward. So once again, I'm Brendan Dooley. I would love to help you figure out not only, what your tax liability might look like. I'm not a tax preparer and this is not tax advice, but we can certainly do projections, trying to figure out how to get a little closer to what you're ultimately going to owe. This is one of the things that we can control, right? We can control fees and to some extent taxes. And, as much as I've tried in the past, the S&P 500 has not listened to me. It does not go up when I ask it to, even if I ask it nicely. So these are the two things that we can control, and that's where we should make sure that we direct our energy. So there are ways that we could potentially help you keep more of your Social Security benefit, and more of your retirement account. Let's talk if that's something that you're interested in. I can help you maybe get more mileage out of